Hi, I'm Scott.
I'm Candice.
I'm Lacey.
And I'm Lariah.
Grab a drink and come hang with us at the Hangar Bar.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hangar Bar. We are super excited to have you with us. Candice and I are actually sitting in the beautiful Beach Club Resort.
Yes.
After we had our first day at Disney World. So we're going to do something a little bit different for this episode. Each night of our trip, we're going to record a Disney After Dark episode. And, well, not an episode. It'll be a segment. So this may be a little not disjointed, but we'll put it together in the best way possible. But we're going to walk you through everything that we did during our trip. Today was travel day, obviously. Yes. We didn't get into Orlando until like 4, right?
It was 2:45.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So Candice, what did we do tonight?
So we got settled into our hotel, and we did use a private car service to come from the airport rather than waiting on a Mears bus or something like that.
Worth it.
Totally worth it. Our driver was amazing.
Yes.
And it was a comfortable ride. It was a safe ride. We didn't have to worry about anything. We could just watch the scenery, which I love.
Yes.
So once we got checked into our resort, we really hadn't eaten much of anything all day because it was a travel day.
And travel times were just kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
7:15 leave from the Lincoln Airport, so we had a little snack there, but then kind of not a sprint, but a fast walk to our gate in Chicago. So we didn't really get a chance to eat lunch, so just the snack on board that flight.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 3:30, 4 o'clock when we hit the resort, and we were all pretty hungry.
Yeah, so we went down to the Marketplace, which is the quick service location here at Beach Club, and we had some of the, so we do have the Disney dining plan on this trip.
Yes.
So we wanted to go pick up our refillable resort mugs, and while we were at the Marketplace, we ordered some macaroni and cheese. It was baked mac and cheese, topped with bacon, green onions, and goldfish crackers. The bowl of mac and cheese that we got was $11.
Which I didn't think was too bad.
No, it was a huge portion.
Yeah.
We split it because we did have other plans this evening, and I thought it was delicious.
Yeah, it was really good.
Mm-hmm. Probably better than what I was expecting from a quick service.
Yeah, I was expecting like theme park mac and cheese, which when you say that out loud doesn't sound like it would be very appetizing, but
this was good.
It was delicious.
Yeah. And then we decided that because there's always room for ice cream, in Scott's opinion, that...
It's the truth. It's not an opinion. It's a fact.
Okay, excuse me. We decided that we also needed to locate Beaches and Cream, and we went to their order window, and we had 2 scoops of their delicious strawberry ice cream in a sugar cone.
Yeah, and that was one of our firsts on this trip.
Yes.
So Candice and I have kind of made it a point to say we want to do some things we've not done before. So that was one of our, other than this
Staying
is
at
a
the Beach
resort
Club.
that
Yes.
we've not stayed at, but Beaches and Cream was one of our firsts for this one. So yeah, it was a good start.
Mm-hmm. We sat out by the pool and enjoyed our ice cream. The weather's been fabulous.
Yeah.
Probably better than I think we expected so far. And then, so we just kind of got settled in our room. We did place a Instacart order to have a case of water waiting for us at Bell Services.
Yep.
And there is a beverage cooler here in the room. And so we've just stocked that with bottles of water because Florida water tastes funny.
Yes. Tastes like shrimp.
And other
accoutrement
creatures. Then we have 3 newbies on this trip that have never been to Disney World before. And those that have been here before do things a very specific way. So we wanted to share with them how we Disney, which meant not going to a park on the first day. It meant shouting out Disney Springs.
Right.
So we put together I guess you could call it a progressive dinner.
Yeah, that was the intent behind it.
Yeah, where we would go several different places for several different courses and just kind of give a sampling of some of our favorite spots in Disney Springs. And we actually found some new ones.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first place we went to was the Edison.
Yes.
And so the Edison has a really cool, like, steampunk vibe. They do have live entertainment, which we left right after that started because it was annoying me.
And we had somewhere else to be.
It was fine for what it was, but it just hit me wrong. I think I was...
You were ready to move on.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a schedule, and we were behind schedule.
Which drives me nuts.
Right. So I think you would have enjoyed the music more if you hadn't been behind schedule.
The singer was a treat.
You didn't like his outfit. His voice was fine.
Okay. Anyway, so then we walked over to Morimoto Street Food. Now, we've been to Morimoto Asia before, and that's one of our favorite places, so much so that we actually seek out Morimoto restaurants in other places that we go that aren't Disney.
True.
But we've never been to the street food location.
Mm-hmm.
And we went over there for appetizers, and we were talking up those sticky ribs, which are some of our very favorite things. And at the last part of our group got up to order, and the second to last part of our group got the last of the sticky ribs.
Right.
So we shared our sticky ribs because not having those sticky ribs is a crime.
Yes.
And we
Agreed.
had some delicious drinks, and somebody got a bao bun, and just a lot of different things at the table. But everybody said it was really, really good. I've never had anything bad from Morimoto.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and we'll probably do more about drinks and dining in another episode.
Yes.
This one is more just about reactions to the day.
But yeah.
We'll talk more about what we ate and drank and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So listen for that.
Then we went over so we're here celebrating a friend's birthday. And it's a delayed trip because she wanted to come in 2020, but that's when the panini hit. And so we haven't been able to come until now. So we let her choose, and we gave her a choice between Cooks of Dublin, which is Irish quick service,
yes,
fish and chips and things like that, or the Polite Pig, which we've seen a lot about from different places.
Yeah.
They also have an amazing bourbon bar.
They do.
Which, that was Scott's pull for
yes,
selecting
that's why I
the
wanted
Polite
to go there
Pig.
and was hoping that's where she picked.
And that's where she picked.
Yay!
So, because of the damage that we did at Morimoto, I was not feeling hungry at all. And everything, the menu looked amazing at Polite Pig, but everything looked so heavy. So we actually decided on a couple of sides, and I think that was the right way to go.
Yeah, I do too. One of the sides I was disappointed in, the other one was delicious.
Yes, it kind of made up for the other one, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
But we'll talk more about that in another episode. Then after after Polite Pig, we walked over to our namesake, Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar.
That's right, we did.
And that was another new for us because we got to sit on the back deck. Our server was Brian. He was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
We had some really, really good drinks, good conversation with him. He took really good care of us.
Yes, he did.
We also had a shot called a chocolate cake, which I don't know how the science works. But
weirdest thing ever.
It has lemon and some liquor. And
it was vodka and a hazelnut liqueur and something else. I would have to go look at the receipt again. But
and then sugar around the rim. And you take a bite of the lemon, drink the shot, and lick the sugar, and it tastes just like chocolate cake.
Yes.
It's the weirdest thing ever.
It's so strange, but delicious.
Delicious. And appropriate for birthday.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a very expensive shot,
yes,
but it was good.
Yes. Worth it.
Yes.
Yes. And then we came back to our hotel, and that's where we are at now.
Yeah. So, scale of 1 to 10, how was your first day in Disney for this trip?
I would say probably a 9.5.
Yeah, I was thinking 9, 8.5, somewhere in there. Just I can't pick out what would have been better, but I want to leave room for better because I know Disney is...
This is our first day.
Right. This is our first day, and we got a lot of really fun stuff coming. So, tomorrow night when we do our Disney After Dark, it's going to be... 2 o'clock in the morning before
it'll be a late one.
That, but yeah, it'll be we'll do that. We're going to give you our reaction at the end of every day, kind of tell you a little bit about what we did and the things that we had going on that day.
And any standouts.
Yeah, any standouts and that kind of thing. And today I would agree with you 100%. The server at Jock Lindsay's made the night.
Absolutely,
he was
did.
just a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Didn't take any of our crap, and we have a group that likes to give crap. And
but he dished it as well as he received it.
Yeah,
so.
And the bartender at the Edison, I thought, did a really good job, too.
She did. She was on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's it for day one.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to
Day 2.
Day 2. So what did we do today, Scott?
I'm beat.
Because?
We started... Well, we rope dropped a breakfast location because why wouldn't we?
Fair enough.
So we left our room at 7:30 this morning, and we were recording this sometime after midnight without a break during the course of the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm beat. My feet are screaming at me.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's a quick tip for everybody listening that is thinking about going to Disney. Start walking and getting extra steps in before you go, so you don't kill your feet when you're here.
And I know we've mentioned it before, but no new shoes. Like, make sure that if you're getting new shoes to go to Disney, that you have plenty of time to break them in.
Yeah.
Plenty
Plenty of time. But today was an awesome day. I don't want to make it sound like I'm bitching. Like, we had a fantastic day.
We really did.
It rained on us for a little bit. There were a couple periods of rain, but we had a raincoat and an umbrella, and we were good. Ate at Garden Grill for breakfast. Got to talk to Mickey and Pluto and Chip and Dale for a few minutes. Then we went and we were talking about doing Soarin', but we didn't because we're like, okay, we have more days in the parks coming.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, while we were eating breakfast, it shot up from a 25-minute wait to, like, a 75 or 80-minute wait. And today we just weren't in it for waits. We talked about heading into this trip that we would wait on some things if we really wanted to do them. Today, there were enough things that we wanted to do that had little to no wait that we were just like, nope, next time.
And yet, I think, like today, we did several new things.
Yes.
But I think one thing that really stood out to both of us was we took everything at a really leisurely pace. Like, we didn't try and go balls to the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. And that made it super nice for me. Like, we were talking at the Magic Kingdom at the After Hours event that we went to, and we were talking, like, I just mentioned, this trip, the park seems smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because we're navigating them better. If it's since we've been here last, we've started a podcast where we're doing a lot about talking about Disney. So things seem a little bit more relative in terms of what you're looking at and that kind of thing. But just today, Epcot and Magic Kingdom both to me seemed smaller than what I remember them being.
And I will say that, especially Epcot, I noticed that about with the positioning of Guardians of the Galaxy and that whole area over there. It just seems like it really cut up the front part of the park.
Yeah.
Me.
Agreed. But so here's two things about Guardians. So let's go there. We got on Guardians today. We purchased our first ever individual Lightning Lane selection.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, lar.
We fancy.
We fancy. So we went on Guardians because apparently I don't have the magic trick to be able to get into the virtual queue. And so we bought the individual Lightning Lane. And two things. Do you still believe that it shouldn't be in Epcot? And what did you think of the ride?
So.
Attraction.
Drink. It makes sense where it's at in Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say I think it belongs there because it has nothing to do with edutainment whatsoever. But in the new neighborhoods that they have established in Epcot, it makes total sense.
Yes.
I have a lot of thoughts about the attraction itself.
Okay.
And I think that could be a separate discussion.
Okay. So let me ask it this way a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking forward to going on it again?
Yes.
Yeah, it was probably the best roller coaster I've ever been on.
The ride itself was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the storytelling maybe lacked a little bit, but we can talk, again, we'll go into a lot more detail with some of these things. The idea behind what we're recording now is just reactions to the day and give you sort of an idea of everything that we did. So we did hop. We started our day in Epcot, and then we went over to Magic Kingdom. So what were some of the first that we did in Epcot? And it was, 1:30, 2 o'clock when we hopped?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. So what did we do in Epcot this morning? We did Living with the Land, Garden Grill.
We did the Seas with Nemo and Friends.
Mm-hmm. You got on Figment.
I got on Figment from the first time.
You had your picture taken with Mickey in his 100th outfit.
And Minnie.
And Minnie in her 100th outfit.
Mm-hmm. And his farmer outfit from Garden Grill.
Yes.
Which, hello. Let's see what else. Oh, we went to Celebration Gardens and found the statue of Walt.
Mm-hmm.
And got our picture taken with that. And I know it might sound silly to have your picture taken with a statue. I loved every second of that.
Yep. It was pretty fantastic.
Yep.
So Candice lost her sunglasses on Guardians.
I did.
We hope to get them back. If not, c'est la vie.
Mm-hmm.
What else? We did Spaceship Earth.
Mm-hmm. Which we need to talk about her too.
Okay.
Like maybe we can do like an Epcot attraction discussion.
Okay. Like make that an episode. I think the girls would enjoy being there for that.
Yes.
Ask us questions and that kind of thing about that.
Yes.
Okay. So audience, hold us accountable to coming back and talking about this again. We're talking about this late at night and probably going to go to sleep right after we get done. So it is Walt Disney World after dark. After all. Wow. Let's see. Is that all? We did eat we got drinks from Connections Cafe, which is now the Starbucks location in Epcot. And I felt a bit like a traitor because I didn't start with Joffrey's, but I ended with Joffrey's. You did. We got Joffrey's on our way to get on the monorail to go over to Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. And I had a shaken Jamaican cold brew, which was good.
And since I don't drink coffee, I had a strawberry lemonade frozen concoction thing.
That you said was really sweet.
Yeah, it was so sweet. So sweet. It was pure sugar. Like, okay, one of the funniest lines that I heard today was from a lady that was absolutely annoying the hell out of me, but she had my classic line of the day. She was talking about one of her kids that said she's running on French fries and lollipops this week. And I just looked at Candice and I said, same. Because today was an awful lot about a balanced breakfast and that nothing but sugar until about 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I would agree.
When we split a hamburger and then we went back to sugar.
Yep.
Today was a sugar day.
It was.
Ugh.
Carbs.
We need to do better tomorrow.
We maybe get something green tomorrow.
No.
Okay. Am I stepping outside the bounds?
Yes, but we can do something other than sugar.
Well, yeah. A little fat, maybe. So, let's see. Was that all the new things? Oh, so then we took the monorail over to the TTC.
Transportation and Ticket Center, for those of you that don't know.
Mm-hmm. And then we had a first that we rode the ferry boat over to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, so we could have gotten on the... So you have to transfer monorails if you're coming from Epcot to Magic Kingdom. So we decided, let's just do a first. The ferry boat was sitting there waiting to go, so we just went and got on that instead of running up the ramp to get on the next monorail.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was a good time.
Yeah, it was really... I wouldn't want to do it first thing in the morning or late at night.
No.
But it was like a good way to get from TTC to the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, you really can't beat the views.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we went into Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we did all the things.
We did a lot of the things.
Yeah, so we went kind of against our general rule, and we turned right when we came down Main Street, USA. We got Candice a new pair of sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
Then we turned right to go into Tomorrowland because we had the after hours event, and we felt like some of the things that were going to have long lines we would want to do later during the after hours event.
And some of the stuff that we love is not open during after hours, like Carousel of Progress, and we wanted to make sure that we got that in, because it's a must-do, of course.
So that was, Carousel of Progress was our first stop, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carousel of Progress was our first attraction.
Well, technically our first stop was in the middle of Main Street. We did go down the alleyway and heard the voice lessons.
Yeah, that's right. But then we did Carousel of Progress, we did People Mover. I'm just trying to think back on what direction we kind of went, because we did so much. Where did we go after so we went Carousel of Progress. Did we go straight to the People Mover?
No, didn't we order lunch? Like, didn't we go to Cosmic Rays?
Yes. Did we only do those 2 attractions, though?
In Tomorrowland?
Well, I'm just trying to think, like, once we got done with Tomorrowland, was there anything else we did before we kind of got into the after hours kind of planning?
Yeah, we went on Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid. And then we were going to go take the train, but it was closing for the evening.
Yeah, I'm just trying to picture.
And then we took a nice long break at Gaston's Tavern.
Yes, that's right. That's right. We both needed to just sit for a bit, so we went into Gaston's Tavern and again had more sugar and an overrated cinnamon roll. And I think we both agreed that cinnamon roll was very overrated.
Yeah.
We see so much about how good that cinnamon roll was. It wasn't. It was dry. It was.
My question would be, those of you that love it, what kind of cinnamon rolls are you eating?
Right.
Because this was not good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend the money or credit on it ever again.
Yeah, we even got the extra container of frosting, and it didn't help. Just added more sugar, which is probably why I'm crashing now.
Yeah, well, that and we've been going for 17 hours.
Yeah, that's true. So then, let's just run through quick everything else that we did. So, Journey Under the Sea, we did, like, this may not be in chronological order.
Because we were all over the place.
We were all kind of, but I didn't feel like we zigzagged a whole lot.
We didn't zigzag, but we went out of our normal cadence.
So we did Haunted Mansion, we did
Pirates, we
did the Tiki Room.
The Tiki Room, which was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, we should just do an entire attractions episode, because Haunted Mansion has been updated.
Yes, in a big way. It's more than just the Hatbox Ghost.
Yeah, and like that seems like nobody's talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
In the circles that we watch and the people that we watch, it doesn't feel like they're talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a lot of updates on that attraction. So yeah, we probably need to talk about differences in the rides, that kind of thing. Attractions. What else?
I got pixie dusted.
Candice got pixie dusted. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. I have a magical shirt.
Oh yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so the last time we were here and we were going to go to, well, we did have an after hours at Magic Kingdom. I got a shirt that says, I love cast members. I heart cast members, which, again, this is a hill I will die on every single day of my life. The cast members are the magic. It would not be Disney without them. And I said what I said.
Yes.
So, because we were going to after hours tonight, that has become a tradition, apparently, where I wear the shirt. And, like, it was kind of cool.
Yeah. So many people thanked her for wearing that shirt and commented on it. Mm-hmm. And, like, one of the guys that we were just walking by, a photo pass photographer, said it took him, like, 1,000, or it took him, like, 10 years to get 1,000 cast member compliments.
Yep.
And his wife saw it coming and went out and bought him 1,000 little ducks.
Mm-hmm.
They're the cutest little things, and he gave us each one of those little ducks. for making his day, which I thought was pretty awesome.
Yep.
And then Candice flashed some people on Main Street, USA.
I said I wasn't being a creeper. But so it got chilly tonight. Like the weather kind of turned on us a little bit, and it was raining and windy, and
it was cold.
It was cold. So I had Scott's jacket on. He let me borrow that, which thank you very much.
Yeah, so I was in shorts and a t-shirt, and she was in my coat.
And pants.
And pants. And I was in shorts and a t-shirt.
But we were walking out of the park and walking back up Main Street.
Yeah.
Okay. And a group of cast members were having a great time.
Yeah.
And I just looked at them and I said, y'all have way too much energy and I love it. It's a beautiful thing. And they were just the sweetest girls. And so then I'm like, I'm not going to be a creeper, but I have to show you something. So I unzipped my jacket and I showed them my shirt.
Yes.
And they just went goo-goo for it.
One of them even took Candice's picture. So she's probably going to go viral in like Disney employee groups or something.
Yes. Mission accomplished.
Or you'll be in the wanted ads in the
Don't let this woman back in the park.
We ate at Cosmic Rays for the first time ever.
It was standard theme park food, but it was really good, I thought.
Yeah.
We did not sit and listen to Sunny Eclipse because that drives me nuts. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what other firsts we did today. That might be it.
Yeah, and I'm such a creature of habit that, like, I like doing new things, especially in an environment like Disney, because it's okay and it's safe and, you know, all these things. But I must tell you, there is comfort in doing what we always do. We did get to see Happily Ever After.
Yes.
Again. Because of the inclement weather, they had to change the positioning of some of the fireworks, so they were like more directly overhead. So that was pretty amazing. And then we did get to see, as part of the After Hours event, Enchantment.
For sure.
Which
did not deserve the bad rap it got.
Not once they added the good parts.
Right. But even then, it still got a bad rap. And it didn't deserve it. Once they added Walt and Mickey in, it did not deserve the reputation it got.
That should have been the first iteration.
Well, yeah, but again, somebody screwed up, they fixed it.
Yep.
But I think people still complained about that fireworks show.
Because it was different.
Right, because it wasn't Happily Ever After.
Right.
But it was a phenomenal show. And 2 fireworks shows in the same night without having to hop parks was fun.
Yeah. Oh, and for Enchantment, because there's such a low crowd at After Hours, we got a place like right by the partner statue.
Yeah. Yeah, when Walt was talking about Walt Disney World, we were sitting next to Walt.
Like, oh, my soul.
Okay, is that it for today?
I think so.
Okay.
There's probably more, but
yeah,
I'm tired.
And this is going to be one of those trips that I think is going to fuel content for us for a long time.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
This was a long day. We're both beat. Tomorrow's another Epcot day, more focused on World Showcase is kind of the plan. We'll let you know how close we stuck to plan tomorrow night when we record again.
Yep, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow night dinner, especially.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Absolutely. Hey everyone, welcome back to Disney After Dark.
Yeah, and the way I'm going to piece this together, we probably don't need to say welcome back every night.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it all in, but it's just going to seem weird that every time there's a break with a little bit of interlude music, you're going to say welcome back. It's going to be like we're coming back from a Delilah show. Shout out to the people who know who Delilah was.
Tell me you're old without telling me you're old. Okay, so today was actually day 2.
Day 2.
Day 2.
Yes.
We did not go as hard as we did yesterday. We did not have another 17-hour day.
Thank Pete.
Right? Thanks, Pete. And thank you, Phoenicians.
As always.
Yes. But I think it was another fabulous day.
Oh, I agree. We slept in this morning because we were up super late last night. So we didn't set an alarm. We said we're going to get to Epcot when we get to Epcot today. And I think we headed out the door of our hotel room around 11-ish and had kind of our first magical moment right when we got to Epcot.
We did.
The country bears walked down, and then we saw Tigger, and then Mr. Smee, who is, here's my hot take of this trip, Mr. Smee is quite possibly my favorite pirate.
Hot take indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got our picture taken with Mr. Smee and one of the country bears, and that was kind of fun, just seeing kind of characters out in the wild.
Yeah. And, I loved the interactions that we had with them because they were headed to specific meet and greet spots.
Right.
But they didn't shy away from interacting with us.
Right.
Because we were on our way somewhere.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
Yep.
And then we had the Breakfast of Champions.
Yes.
Do you want to tell everyone what our Breakfast of Champions was?
I would love to. Once again, we had a lot of new today, and one of our biggest new today is that we actually partook in some of the festival booths.
We did. It was exciting.
Yes. Right now we are celebrating the Festival of the Arts in Epcot, and of course, all of the countries have their own booths with specialty food items and drinks, and we started our day in France with what is supposedly one of the best foods of the fest, which, after having it, I'm not sure that it's not.
I would agree.
But we had the bread roll and warm brie from France.
Delicious.
And I tell you what, I've seen it on TV with different influencers and things like that, and I've thought, why is it so small? Well, it redeemed itself because that cheese is so rich that I wouldn't have wanted any more.
And we split it.
We did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another good thing to keep in mind, and thank you for bringing that up. If you're coming to a festival of some kind, share. Because we did several sharings, and it was the right amount.
Yeah. Agreed.
But then we also had a French martini.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you have a bread bowl of cheese and a
Alcohol.
vodka martini for breakfast?
Well,
at that point, it's brunch.
Yeah.
So brunch is one of those meals where you get to eat all the things.
Right.
So
it doesn't matter. So, yeah. Plus, we're on vacation. Plus, it's Disney.
Right.
So, magic. But we actually did get to experience Remy.
Yes.
The Ratatouille ride today.
I think it had been down right before we got into the park.
Very possibly.
We got our breakfast, brunch, whatever you want to call it, and I looked on the app and saw that it was only a 25-minute wait. So I'm like, we should take this opportunity since we're right here and just go wait in the line.
And I'm glad we did.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the ride here in just a second, but this is one of those things that if you're close to something and you see it has a reasonable wait,
do it.
Don't wait. Because we went on that attraction. By the time we got back to where the entrance was, the wait was up to 35 minutes. By the time we got off that attraction, the wait was 110 minutes. So that was the matter of about 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. It went, total time 30 minutes, 45 minutes maybe. It went from a 25-minute wait to a 110-minute wait. So when you see opportunities like that, take them.
Yes, definitely.
Now, let's talk about that attraction.
Okay, let's.
I had my expectations for that set super low.
I did as well.
Like, everybody who listens to us knows that we talk a lot about not liking screen-based attractions. And, so, squirrel moment. I'm realizing there's a lot of screen-based attractions around Disney that I love. That have, if they do screens right, they're great. Soarin'.
When they do them right.
Right, exactly. Soarin' is an example of that. But Remy is, I will tell you, as much as I liked Guardians, another hot take, lots of hot takes from me today, I liked Remy's Ratatouille Adventure better than I liked Guardians. It was adorable. I mentioned to Candice at one point when they were pulling up the ride vehicles, I'm like, those ride vehicles are so cute, I think I'm going to throw up.
Yeah, the whole technology behind that ride is just amazing.
Yeah.
word of caution to our listeners. It can create some motion sickness just because there is quite a bit of jerking around and lots of fast-paced action to try and keep track of with your eyes and everything. And you are wearing 3D glasses, so that can be an issue as well. So just take that with a grain of salt. It's adorable. I love it. I'll do it again, but just grain of salt.
Yeah, I have slow eyes. Like, if that makes sense to people, like, I don't focus on things as quickly as some people do, I think. Like, hopefully that makes sense. But there were a couple times on it where I had to kind of blink my eyes a few times to be able to focus on anything at all. But it was just absolutely, I loved every minute of that attraction, from the queue to the story that they're telling in the queue to all those things. I absolutely adored that attraction.
Mm-hmm. And I think part of that, and tell me if I'm wrong, part of that I think is because it is quintessential Disney.
Yeah, it felt like a very Disney ride. It had like the 4D. There was a little bit of physical mixed in with the 3D screens and that kind of thing. The trackless ride system was cooler than I thought I was expecting it to be too. Like at one point, like the ride vehicle was jostling a little bit, and Candice leaned over and said, "We're running." Because it felt like you were a mouse that was running. It just, how they think about that stuff is just amazing to me.
Yep.
So yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Then we moved at a glacial pace around the rest of World Showcase between noon 30 and really 4:30. We made it all the way around and met our friends in the Cava del Tequila for a margarita with ant salt for me, a pina colada for Candice. And we also rode the
Grand Fiesta tours.
Grand Fiesta tour with the three Caballeros, and then had our margarita, and then, some of their party went off to do, let me explain. They were already in La Cava. The line was too long, so Candice and I went and did the Grand Fiesta tour. We came back, the line to La Cava was shorter, so we got in line right as they were wrapping up. So they went and did the Grand Fiesta tour as Candice and I started moving at our glacial pace towards the land pavilion again, because Soarin' had a fairly low wait time.
It's Soarin' over California still, which is by far my favorite iteration.
Yeah. So Candice and I kind of walked at our pace over to the land pavilion, and then the group that went on Grand Fiesta tour caught up to us a few minutes after we got there. We stood in line for Soarin', caught up a little bit, and went on that. And then we took a nice little break, had a beer and some nice conversation, and then meandered our way back over towards our dinner reservation tonight. And so Candice, talk to us a little bit about where dinner was tonight.
Okay, we had dinner tonight at La Hacienda de San Angel, affectionately known on this podcast as Stan and Helen's.
Stan and Helen's.
Stan and Helen's. And our meal was fantastic.
Yes.
Our server was fantastic.
Yes.
The hostess and even the front of house manager were very, very unorganized. We had some sort of a system glitch with our reservation where they said we missed our check-in window, but it wasn't even time for our reservation to start yet. And then they just couldn't find it, and the hostess said, well, they may have canceled it. I'm like, why? So she's like, well, you have to go in and talk to that guy. So, and we experienced that the last time we were there as well. Just really inefficient, very confused, unorganized front of house.
Yeah, I told Candice, I said, the front of house seemed chaotic.
Yes, but then you get back into the restaurant and it's not that way at all, because everybody's very organized and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go to Stan and Helen's, just keep that in mind.
Pack your patient pants.
Yeah, don't let the chaos of the front of house carry back into the rest of your dining experience, because if you do, that could very easily ruin the rest of your dining experience. Yes. If we had dwelled on the fact that a reservation that we made 60 days ago was all of a sudden canceled 5 minutes before our reservation when we had planned that out to do our fireworks viewing for tonight. If we had let that carry over,
it would have ruined the evening.
Right. The stress, even though they got us in, the stress of just having to deal with that very well could have ruined the evening. So pack your patient pants. Don't let chaos one place bleed into chaos somewhere else.
And that's a really handy tip. Like, your confirmation numbers will be on your My Disney Experience app. Have those things ready.
Yeah. Because I think that helped tonight. Like, here, see? We had a reservation at 7:45, and you're telling me I missed my check-in window.
And it's 7:25.
Right.
Something's not right here.
Right. He's like, oh, let me restore that for you. And like 5 minutes later, we were seated.
Yeah. And dinner was amazing.
Yeah, it really was. Queso Fundito for the win.
I could have just eaten that. Although my dessert was like next level.
Yeah, tell everybody about your dessert.
So my dessert was a sweet cream ice cream topped with popcorn and tahini.
Which, who would have thought tahini is an ice cream topper?
But it was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And we watched our first ever viewing of Luminous was from there in Stan and Helen's. I didn't have a great view because I couldn't see the middle of the lagoon, but I think Candice had a much better view than I did.
I had a pretty good view. I could see some of the fountains and stuff, not all of it, and there was a lot of stuff that was more up in the air.
Right.
So I'll be excited to watch it outside later this week.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought the show was fantastic. It really gives a lot of Illuminations vibes.
Yes.
And the music is just more fitting, I guess.
And let me tell you, I didn't know that La Cuerda May or Remember Me from Coco, and Because She Loved Me from Toy Story 3 or 4, whichever, mixed together. You want to talk about tugging at the heartstrings.
It's an amazing mashup.
Yeah.
And like, just take my steak knife and plunge it into my heart. Because I'm done.
I've personally rough 6 months or so. Like, hearing those songs come together, I'm like, why, Disney? Why?
Because that's what they do.
Right. That's what they're good at.
It's that storytelling that'll kill you every time.
Exactly. Exactly.
But no, and then we watched Luminous and finished up dinner and walked our way on back to our resort.
Yeah. Yeah, again, super short walk from Epcot to our resort. That alone is worth the price of admission for me. And I will tell you, like, I'm not saying this just to butter you up because I want you to do something.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
But one of my favorite parts of today was us kind of walking out of Epcot at the end of the night, hand in hand, just kind of walking back to the resort. Just having a quick conversation, talking about it's a nice, cool night. We're both in hoodies, just kind of walking at a pace that's right for us, not caring what anybody else is doing or the pace that they're going. Just, we walked a straight line, let everybody kind of go around us and do their thing, and we just were. And like, that was one of my favorite parts of today.
That was a good part.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. I did get a souvenir we got a couple really cool souvenirs, actually.
Yes.
Both from the Japan Pavilion, actually.
Yes.
The first one came from the food booth, and it is a sake box.
Yes.
And apparently what you do is you drink sake from this little wooden box. But the cool thing about it is they wrote our last name in Japanese on one side. They wrote thank you, and then they put the date that we visited and drew a little tiny Mickey.
Yes. And we now know for 2 different reasons that it actually does have our last name and doesn't say something like Kung Pao Chicken, even though that would be Chinese. But
correct.
When they wrote we asked them to put our last name on the box, and what's in the box? Sorry.
Oh dear. Disney.
So I took the box after she had written our last name on it. And when I took it to the next person that was actually preparing our food and our drink from that booth, they actually called me by my last name. So And then the second way we know is one of our travel party has an app that you can take a picture of Japanese characters and it translates them. And while they spelled it slightly differently than I would spell it, it probably
it's still pronounced the
same.
same.
So yeah, so we know it says our last name on it, which is kind of awesome.
Yep.
And it's just it's an inexpensive little box written on in Sharpie, but it's going to be something we keep forever.
Yeah, and I mean we're going to put it on our bar.
Yeah.
And figure out something to do with it, but it's going to be down there, and we're always going to know where it came from.
Yep.
And that's super cool.
Yeah, and another fun little fact: if you're ever here, or if you're here, I don't know how much longer this festival goes on. But if you come to this festival and you go to the Japanese booth and you eat the bao bun, the Wagyu bao bun, it tastes like a runza.
Yeah, and we don't know how because there's no chopped up onion or cabbage in it at all. But they've got the spices down, hardcore runza. Right, but it, like, I took a bite and I made Candice take a bite and I'm like, what does that taste like? And she's like, I don't know, but it's so familiar. I'm like, 'cause it's a runza. I'm like, oh yeah. And then my other souvenir from the Japan Pavilion, we went to Mitsukoshi.
Yes.
Which we've talked about before. It's the world's oldest department store. And I got some tropical pineapple marshmallows. And they are little marshmallows with pineapple flavored jelly inside of them. And they are delicious.
They're like Hello Kitty, right?
Yeah, they're Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
I think they're tasty.
Yeah, and Candice said they're a downright health food. You could have like 9 of them for 100 calories.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd show my doctor that nutrition label and she would agree with me, but you know.
Well, it's written in Japanese, isn't it?
No.
Oh, so it's not. Yeah, don't show that to your doctor.
No. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so that was day 2. Do we want to talk about what food did we eat? So we ate the bao bun, we ate the cheese, and we also we went to Les Artisans.
Well, Artisan de Glace.
Yeah, Artisan de Glace, and had an ice cream sandwich that we've talked about.
Yes, we had the croque de glace, which is the brioche bun with the scoop of ice cream in the middle, your choice of sauce, and then they warm the bread and it like seals itself shut.
Yeah, so we had a appley, caramely
like
crunch.
Cinnamon
apple crunch.
There's a lot going on.
With a caramel sauce with the bun around it. It was delicious.
So good. But again, we split that, and I think that was the right call.
Yeah, we're going to struggle to use all of our dining credits because we're splitting a lot of food this time, but I'm happier that way. I did not want to come and just walk around miserable. So we'll figure it out, but the other thing, so then we also had, for a kind of a late lunch-ish, we went to Germany and decided to order a brat and their pretzel bread pudding, which I will tell you, go out of your way if you're a bread pudding fan. I told Candice, I said, I cannot believe that something that delicious is served in a theme service quick service. Theme park quick service. Listen to what I mean, not to what I say.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I'm not a big proponent of bread pudding.
Yeah.
But this was the right texture, it was the right sweetness, it was the right saltiness, it was the right everything. It was well balanced, delicious, and a good portion size.
Yeah.
Very shareable.
But also not
too huge,
small
though.
And not too big.
Right.
I ate most of it. Candice had a bite. But
I had 2 bites.
Okay, she had 2 bites, but I ate most of it because I'm the bread pudding fan in the family.
I was more interested in the brat and the kraut. And the chips.
And the ducks that were walking by.
Yes, and we got visited by some Disney ducks as well.
Yes.
I had to explain to them that we could not feed them because it's against the rules and it's not healthy for them.
Right.
They didn't seem to appreciate that.
I'm sure they didn't. And I think, again, I'm putting this in here as a future episode discussion topic. But we talked today as well about the life lessons that parents could teach their kids at Disney that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
About how to pay attention to people around you. How to, if you are doing something, make sure if there's anybody, like the example I use actually comes from last night. I don't think we talked about this last night, did we?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. If I did, I'll cut this part out. But At the fireworks, we had a nice place where we were sitting down to watch the fireworks, and a family comes in, which is fine. There's 100,000 people all wanting to watch the fireworks. We get it. But their kids, like right as the fireworks started, stood up on the edge of the wall to watch the fireworks without even once turning around to see if there was anybody behind them that they may be blocking. How easy would it be for a parent at that time to turn around and say, hey, why don't you turn around and make sure the people behind you can see? And if they can't, figure out how to help them so you can see and they can see, because we're all in this together. But that didn't happen. We spent the next 20 minutes taking pictures of our kids using flash photography during the middle of a fireworks show. There's little things like that absolutely drive me nuts, that would be such great opportunities to teach your kids a lesson. And that's not meant in a negative way, right? It's not like that kid needs to be taught a lesson. But good humans raise good humans.
Right.
Be a good human.
Right.
The world will be a better place if you can teach your kid when they're 8 to turn around and say, hey, I'm sorry, am I in your way? Let me move to the right.
Right.
Because I can still see and you can.
Yes, and help your children understand that the world doesn't revolve around them.
Right. So that's probably another topic for an
I think that's
entire episode.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking lots of mental notes about how many people, like, I've almost tripped. I almost got run over by a person in a wheelchair. Not even a motorized wheelchair. I almost got run over by someone in a regular wheelchair today.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So, like, lots of little be good human kind of conversations for a future episode. Okay. That was a lot. Are we done for tonight?
I think we're done for today.
Okay. Plan for tomorrow. Next segment will be monorail bar crawl.
Exactly.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Hey, welcome to Wednesday of our Disney week.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a fantastic trip.
Absolutely.
Today was a rest day.
Yes, which, pro tip, if you're planning a trip to Walt Disney World, plan a rest day in the middle.
Yes.
Your body will thank you for it.
Yes. And we got in trouble today.
We did. But more about that later.
Yes. Well, we can start there if you want, because it's really the first thing that happened to us.
You mean besides the fact that we slept in?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we slept in and lollygagged around enough that we actually missed our regular mousekeeping rotation. And by the time we got up and around and out of the room, we had a voicemail saying, it's our policy that we have to come into the room once a day, blah, blah, blah. Just so you know.
Yeah.
So, mousekeeping actually skipped over us. I'm sure they came in.
Right.
Because we took the room occupied sign down after we left. So I'm sure they came in, did a visual inspection, as they're supposed to, but they didn't make our beds. They didn't refresh towels or anything like that because we missed rotation.
Right.
Which I'm fine with. It was our own fault.
Yeah, it's good. I just thought it was hilarious that we slept in so long today that Disney thought we weren't going to let them come into the room.
Right.
I'm like, dude, we were out of the room before noon.
And other members of our travel party have said the same thing, that
Yes.
they've gotten the same message. So
Yeah, but they were because they left the thing out all day. We had no intention of leaving the thing out all day.
right.
It's a rest day. We just started out resting.
Right.
We had a quick service breakfast from the resort today, which was pretty tasty.
Mhm.
I made it room service for Candice, so she didn't have to get up. We mobile ordered. I went downstairs and picked it up and came back up.
And I appreciated that so much.
Yeah, it was good. Just typical scrambled eggs and bacon and a Mickey waffle and that kind of thing. It was a good start to the day.
Mm-hmm. And then we decided it was a little bit too chilly to actually get into the pool. Even though the pools are heated, it's that transition between in the heated water and out. When there's wind, it feels a lot colder than it actually is. So I didn't want to deal with that. So we just went and actually hung out by the pool.
Yeah.
And for those of you, if you ever plan on staying at the beach club, it shares the main pool with Yacht Club. And it's essentially a small water park.
Yes.
They're very strict about who they allow into the pool area. You do have to show proof of your reservation, and then they give you a wristband that's good for the entire length of your stay. But you have to get the wristband before you can go into the pool area.
Right.
Once you're there, however, they do offer bar service, food service, all the things. And it's a fantastic area. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was good. And our cast member that was helping us was good at what she did, albeit maybe a little slow, but I think she was trying to cover an entire water park size pool.
Right.
So I'm not going to judge too much on that.
No.
But it was good. And then they had Chloe and Mackenzie.
I think so, or
Michaela, something like that. The entertainment cast members that came out and did some song trivia and kind of got people involved. Candice and I moved from in the sun to in the shade, so they couldn't hear us answer all the questions anymore. But I think we did pretty good until they got into the actual Disney Channel TV programming music, and we're like, "What is this? This isn't music."
I'm like, don't know, don't care.
So that was fun, and we hung out there for a couple of hours, and just kind of chilled by the pool, and people watched and listened to music and chatted, and the rest of our group went to Disney Springs to do some shopping and that kind of thing, and we wanted to have a resort day, so we had a resort day. And then at about 2:30, we packed ourselves up and took a minivan over to the Polynesian to do what, Candice?
We did a monorail bar crawl.
And we completed all but one bar of the monorail bar crawl.
Yes, we did.
And the only reason we didn't get the last one is because our party size was a little bit too big for the timing that we got there, I think.
Yes.
So there were 8 of us on this bar crawl, but we started out at Tambu Lounge, whatever. At least I didn't call it Lapu Lounge like I have been all day.
True.
So we started there to get our
Lapu
Lapus, which is a rum-based drink.
Served in a pineapple. An entire pineapple.
Yeah. It was delicious.
It was.
As always. And then we had our first ever boozy Dole Whip.
Available from Pineapple Lanai.
Yes. And that is just, we got the vanilla and pineapple swirl float with a floater of Coconut Bay rum. And that was pretty delicious. And I will tell you, here's my hot take. I'm a Dole Whip fan, but I'm not a Dole Whip stan. Like, I could leave normal Dole Whip. You mix it with the vanilla, it made it better.
It really did. It tasted more like cake.
Right.
For me. And I'm not a big coconut or pineapple upside down cake because it's too sweet.
Right.
But the vanilla soft serve that they swirled the Dole Whip with cut the tartness of the pineapple and enhanced the sweetness of the pineapple all at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does totally, and I agree 100%. It was delicious. And then we sat for a bit and just had some great conversation with our party and waited for our name to be called at Trader Sam's. And we went into Trader Sam's and had a drink in there. And if you've never been to Trader Sam's, you need to go at least once.
And it's totally worth it. You're going to have a wait. You got to get your name on the list, and you're going to have a wait. Totally, totally worth it for the experience alone.
Yeah. Our wait today was like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Something like that.
Yeah.
So, and we got our name in at like 2:35.
But again, that was a party of 8.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good. It was a long wait. I think people were thinking we were going to have a 2.5 hour wait at every bar we went to. So I think they were a little relieved when we went to the next bar and it wasn't that long of a wait. But so Trader Sam's, I know we've talked about this on the channel a lot, that there's different things that you order, that different things happen in the bar. And the group we were with tonight, I made sure I pointed out that the Jungle Cruise, they had also eaten at Skipper Canteen, and Trader Sam's all shared the same story. So when they were kind of at first put off by cast members that were really straight-faced.
And kind of snarky and kind of punny.
Right. They were like, this is weird. Then we pointed out that she called herself Skipper whatever. It's all the same story. She's being straight-faced on purpose. This is how they're trained. All of a sudden, the group kind of relaxed into it.
Yeah, because it's such a stark difference from every other cast member interaction that we've had this entire trip.
Right.
That it's just like, is she having a bad day or what? And like, no, that's supposed to be.
Right.
But again, it's not like one of those Dick's Last Resort places where they're intentionally rude.
Right. They're not making fun of you.
No, they're just very straight-laced and very punny and very dry.
Right.
But that's part of the experience, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I got the ever-living poop scared out of me at one point. Were you even paying attention then? You're looking at me like you didn't even see that. So somebody had ordered the zombie, and she was walking around with the glasses.
Oh, with the googly eyes?
The googly eye glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, like, trying to get Jackson's attention for something. And, like, she came up behind me, and I just turned and glanced, and there she was, just staring at me through these eyes. I literally jumped and, ugh!
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So we had our drink there. One of our party got a light bite there, an appetizer there, and had the dumplings.
The pot stickers.
The pot sticker dumplings.
Mm-hmm.
They looked really good. And then, so we left there, we hopped on the monorail, and we went over to the Grand Floridian, where we parked it at the Enchanted Rose.
Yep.
And we all got a cocktail there. A couple of us got appetizers there as well. Candice and I got the croquettes, which I compare them to arancini balls. That's kind of what they reminded me of. Not the greatest. They tasted like fried.
Yeah.
They weren't the greatest thing I've ever had. Not a lot of flavor other than that fried flavor to me.
Unless you got the bite right.
Right. Once you get a bite with the tomato sauce, a little bit of the cheese, and the thing, it was tasty then. But just, like, other than that, it wasn't my favorite dish we've had.
Understandable. Mm-hmm.
The other folks that got an appetizers got a fig flatbread, which looked really good, too.
Yeah, it was fig, arugula, and mozzarella.
Yeah, they said they wish the figs had been cut up a little bit finer, but again, those are little complaints. And then drinks we had there, we'll be posting pictures of a lot of these drinks on social media.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they were all really good. They're still serving a Christmas old-fashioned at the beginning of February. I was joking, I wonder if they're just trying to use up all the stuff that they ordered for Christmas, so they're just extending Christmas for a bit. But it was really good. It was a cranberry old-fashioned that had, what was that, sage?
Rosemary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really tasty. So we had a cocktail there, then we hopped on the monorail again, drove past Magic Kingdom, and made the loop around to the Contemporary, where we hopped off and we asked if we could sit in the lounge at California Grill. I was promptly informed that there is no longer a lounge at California Grill,
seats at the bar.
Just seats at the bar if you want to do walk-ups and not have a reservation. We had a big enough party, and we were there at 7:45. Fireworks were starting at 8. The bar was obviously full, so we couldn't get in there. They said to check back later. I think our group was not interested in going up and not seeing fireworks. So we went instead down to, which we were going to do anyway, we went downstairs to Steakhouse 71, which was by far the right decision.
Yes.
Here's another hot take. If you're going to pick one of those two places to go to have a drink, go to Steakhouse 71.
Hands down.
The cocktails were delicious.
Mm-hmm.
The food that we had was well above.
Out of this world.
Yeah, it was fantastic food.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had Candice Boulevardier.
Very good.
I have to say that word so slowly. And I'm the bourbon drinker of the family.
I know. But it's okay.
But it was really good. And then Candice and I split the stack burger. And we split an order of peanut butter and jelly wings.
Mm-hmm.
I am not being hyperbolic when I say I can't remember a cheeseburger that I've had that was better than the one that we had tonight ever in my life.
It was amazing. Amazing.
For being a theme park hamburger, like I can't even quantify it as a theme park hamburger because it's better than hamburgers I've had at sit-down restaurants.
Absolutely.
That aren't part of a theme park.
Yeah, hands down. I mean, the elements of it, and I think I said this earlier this evening, the elements separately were perfect.
Yes.
And you put them together, and it's just...
Yeah, it was cheesy, garlic aioli, sweet pickles.
delicious.
Perfectly cooked probably medium cooked hamburgers.
Mm-hmm.
But it was delicious all the way through. And then the peanut butter and jelly wings, I didn't get much jelly flavor, but they're peanut butter sauced wings with like a jelly dust, like a raspberry dust.
Mm-hmm.
Really tasty. Both the dishes we got, I would 100% order again if we went back there.
Mm-hmm.
But that burger was next level.
Yes.
Next level. We make fun of people that say they would go out of their way to get something. I would go out of my way to get that cheeseburger. It was just that good. And the fries that it came with, I've never had
they were Parmesan waffle fries.
Parmesan waffle fries that were like crispy. I've never had waffle fries that were that crispy and perfect.
Right. They weren't mushy at all.
Right. It was, yeah, just a perfect bite, I think.
Yep.
So, and then we minivanned our happy rear ends back here to the resort, and we only took about 6,400 steps.
We're slowing down.
We're slowing down compared to the close to 20,000 steps that we took on Monday. Our feet are thanking us for taking a few fewer steps today. But yeah, it was just a good day. This segment's going to be a little bit shorter just because we didn't do very much today. So,
and yet I feel like it was a really full day, like complete day.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like we missed anything.
No. It was what we wanted a rest day to be.
Yeah.
So tomorrow morning, we're getting up early. We're rope dropping Hollywood Studios. Mm-hmm. And as we've said before, Candice and I are not ride rope droppers. We're food rope droppers. So keep listening to find out all of the things that we do tomorrow and find out what food we are planning on rope dropping.
Yep.
Okay, today was Hollywood Studios Days.
Mm-hmm.
That was the least English way I possibly could have said that.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah, Hollywood Studios Day.
Mm-hmm.
And we started early this morning.
We did.
We decided to rope drop.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rest of our group was rope dropping. And I think we had things that we wanted to do and try and do early in the morning. But before we get into kind of the day, let me just tell you what was supposed to be a not busy week. I think the cheerleaders have descended.
They have.
Because today was absolutely bonkers in Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
It didn't help that Rise the Resistance was down until probably 10.
Mm-hmm.
Smuggler's Run went down at like 9.
Mm-hmm.
But the wait times on the big hitter attractions in Hollywood Studios today hovered 2 hours for everything all day.
And
long.
Genie Plus was what, $24, $25 today?
Yeah. The only one more expensive was Magic Kingdom, and that was $27.
Okay.
So it was a busy, busy day, I think, across Disney World today. And I'm hopeful that with tomorrow being Friday and Saturday coming up, that we'll be able to do the things that we want to do. But I think crowds are going to be kind of obnoxious the next couple days.
Yep.
But it is what it is. You come to Disney, you have to deal with crowds.
Right.
And the cheerleaders, I say the cheerleaders have descended. I don't think it's the cheerleaders that are causing the problem. There's other people causing the problem. The people that just wander aimlessly, go wherever the hell they want without thinking about anybody that's around them. But again, I don't want to spend this time bitching about other people because you can't control them, right?
Right.
So you just got to do what you do to make the most of your day, which I think we totally did today.
Yeah. Speaking about that, though, when we got into Galaxy's Edge this morning, the cast members were very upfront and transparent about Rise being down, and there was a woman that said, can't a day go by that thing doesn't break down? So, she was off on a cranky start anyway, I think.
Yeah, and what a lousy way to start the day.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, okay, it is what it is. We're here for a Ronto wrap.
Right.
And we got a Ronto wrap.
We did.
What did you think?
I was underwhelmed.
Ronto breakfast wrap. I don't
Correct.
remember what they called it. It may have been a Ronto breakfast wrap.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yes, I was a little underwhelmed as well. I was hoping for something better.
Mm-hmm.
It's sausage and cheese and egg and a garlic aioli situation.
It's a peppercorn sauce.
Yeah, in a pita. and the sausage was good. It needed something more. It needed more flavor, more time for the cheese to melt, something to do differently. But I was not impressed. I got an iced tea lemonade concoction that they called something spacey that I shouldn't have gotten, just because it turned my usual unsweet tea into a sweet tea. And anybody that knows me knows that that's no bueno. So what else did we do today, Candice?
So I actually got my first ever look at Galaxy's Edge, and it is amazing.
It's themed so well, isn't it?
It really is. We actually spent a good chunk of time in that area of the park today, and I was glad for that, because I really got to take the time to take everything in.
Yeah. Yeah, we explored there in the morning, spent some time late afternoon, early evening, that kind of thing throughout. So we'll get to some of the things that we did in Galaxy's Edge or saw in Galaxy's Edge. Well, we can talk about the big thing. We had our first trip. We got an individual lightning lane again today, and we got ourselves on to Rise the Resistance. Tell me what your initial thoughts of that attraction were.
That attraction lives up to every bit of its hype.
120% agree with you.
It was amazing.
Yeah, there was nothing about that entire experience that I thought could have been improved.
Correct.
Perfect. Perfection in a theme park attraction. From storytelling to cast members that were playing their parts to crowds that were into it to fantastic technology, all of the things.
Now, am I glad we had an individual lightning lane for it? 100%.
Yes. I would have, if I had to wait in a 140-minute line for that, I don't think I would have been as pleased.
No.
Because you basically walk through the attraction using the individual lightning lane, or this was our experience anyway, and we never stopped moving into the pre-show room. And the story was told, and we won't spoil the ride for anybody, but it was a perfection. Perfect experience.
Yep.
Like, when you think about perfect Disney experiences, they did so well at that.
They really did.
And this will be a topic for another day, I think. I'm sure we'll come around to this. We'll talk about it a lot more. But everybody, I think, that listens to us knows your opinions of trackless ride systems. We've had some good experiences with trackless ride systems this week. How are your thoughts changing?
The technology behind the thing is awesome. They just need to fix it so it doesn't break down as often.
Right. The technology needs to catch up with the idea. But that's been a Disney thing forever, right?
Sure.
The technology needs to catch up with the idea.
Right.
Yeah, it's it's amazing. So the other trackless thing we did today was we also got on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. What was your thought about that one?
I thought it was super cute. Super, super cute.
Yeah.
I still was a bit salty.
Yes.
Because there were ghosts of the Great Movie Ride haunting every one of my steps through that building. We waited, 40 minutes in that line?
Yeah, 30 or 40. Yeah.
Hot take, it wasn't worth that.
For the first time it was. I wouldn't do it that long again.
Right.
Waiting for it for 40 minutes for the first time seeing it, I'm glad we prioritized it.
Yes.
But if you were to tell me we were going back to Hollywood Studios tomorrow and I had to wait 40 minutes for Runaway Railway again, I'd be like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah. There's
other things I'd rather do. What other attractions did we do today?
Alien swirling saucers.
That's always so fun and cute.
Whee!
Whee! We did not get into Slinky Dog or into the Midway Mania on this trip, unless we decide to hop back over there another day. But
which we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, that was okay. I think we both decided that those weren't going to break our trip this time if we didn't get on those, because the waits were always long. Like we said, Slinky Dog, we were thinking, it's the wait time's coming down as it's getting into the evening, because it dropped down to 60 minutes or something like that. Next time we looked, it was back up to 120. It just ridiculous how long some of the waits were today. We did the Muppet Vision 3D.
Mm-hmm. And we walked through the One Man's Dream.
Yes, that
exhibit.
was the first time we had done that.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Got me in the feels.
Yes. Yeah, that's worth doing if you haven't before. We met our big group for lunch at 50's Primetime today,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of our favorite spots on property. It's such a cool experience, and we met one of Candice's TikTok friends. And
Yeah, we met Cousin Quinn and got to spend some time with her, which was awesome. And she was super, super, super nice about it. Like, she had 14 tables, and she was busy, but she made time to come over and talk and hang out with us for a while. So I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, for sure. And then we also, we talked about going back to Galaxy's Edge in the early evening, nighttime. We went back over to Galaxy's Edge and we didn't meet, but we interacted with Chewbacca
Mm-hmm.
and Rey
Mm-hmm.
and Kylo Ren and a couple of stormtroopers. That was pretty exciting. The dichotomy between the First Order and the Resistance. We were right there in the middle of it.
Yep.
So many nerves.
Drama.
And then we got into Oga's Cantina.
We did.
What did you think of your Oga's experience?
I thought it was really cool. I don't know that it's something I would have to do every time, but it was cool to see.
Yeah. And it's a spendy experience,
yeah, it
too.
is.
Like, their drinks, for being pre-mixed cocktails, are really pretty pricey. But the experience itself was, again, one of those things you almost have to do. If you're a Star Wars fan especially, it's one of those things you have to do. It was so much fun just to hang out. Our server was a lot of fun.
He was fun.
A whole lot of really bad Star Wars dad jokes. It was a good time. And then we walked over to Toy Story Land and we went to dinner because I think all we did was eat today. Right?
Eat and drink sugary things.
Yes, eat and drink sugary things was all we did today. But we ended up at the, I keep wanting to call it Woody's Roundup Rodeo, but it's just the Roundup Rodeo barbecue joint that's there in Toy Story Land. And that is a fun experience, too, with delicious food.
Yeah, I would recommend that, and I would go back.
Yeah, that's a place I would go back to. I'd want to go a little bit hungrier than I was this time.
Definitely.
Because we ate a lot of food today. So we didn't really do it much justice, but you get served. It's family style, so you get the 2 salads that they have. You get 5 sides, 4 different kinds of meat, and then a
lots
dessert
of plant-based
each.
options too.
Yeah,
and delicious biscuits.
Yes, yeah. I think you like the biscuits more than I did. I liked the biscuits better with the jam that they had, but it was just a cheddar biscuit for me. It didn't.
There's no such thing as just a cheddar biscuit.
It just didn't wow me as something spectacular and out of the ordinary.
Okay.
It's a good thing about food. We talked about that at dinner. Like, as we talked about some of the things that we really liked or didn't like. Like, we mentioned the Ronto wrap that we didn't. It was just okay. Like, we hear people go on and on about that it's the better option of the 2 Ronto wrap options. And we were just like, whatever. So it just goes to show some of these things you just have to try yourself. Don't take anybody's word for it. You know your palate better than anybody else's.
Yep.
Just do what you need to do. What else? Anything else that we want to talk about?
I don't think so. It was a good day.
Yeah, it was another fun, long, good day. I think tomorrow is Animal Kingdom Day with maybe a hop over to Magic Kingdom in the evening. And we'll see what happens with that experience.
Yep.
Okay. We'll see you on the flip side. Okay, we are actually not doing a Disney After Dark today. We are doing a Disney in the Park as part of our Disney After Dark series because we totally forgot to record after a wonderful day yesterday.
Yep.
So we are sitting in the entrance to Epcot before we get our day started just because we wanted to do this before we forgot all the wonderfulness that was yesterday and our Animal Kingdom Day yesterday. So It was a nice, kind of chillaxed day, even though I put in another 15,000 steps and it didn't feel like it.
Right.
So we started off, we decided not to rope drop Animal Kingdom. We had some friends, part of our group, that wanted to come over and do a lot of the thrill rides. A couple others didn't, so we kind of took our time. We got over to Animal Kingdom at what, 9?
Yeah, close to it.
9:30, something like
Close
that.
to it.
So,
Mid-morning.
Mid-morning. And we got ourselves from some Joffrey's right outside the park before we went in. And I actually learned something that I didn't know before. I can get just plain iced tea from Joffrey's.
So it was a day for a celebration right from the jump.
Exactly. So we just kind of meandered our way through Animal Kingdom, checked out some of the animals and that kind of thing on our way back to the safari, which was our first attraction of the day. And yeah.
That was interesting. So there is a cheerleading competition in Orlando, specifically in Disney World at the ESPN Wide World of Sports this weekend. And for the first part of our week, it was pretty manageable crowds, not a lot going on. But starting Thursday, crowds really ramped up. Hollywood Studios was nuts on Thursday.
Yes.
And yesterday, Animal Kingdom was out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, we waited for an hour for the safari.
About 50, 55 minutes.
And there were parts of that line that I had never seen before.
Right. Yeah. It was crazy busy.
And then everything else was at least an hour wait, including Scott shared with me that Navi River Journey, when he headed back to the hotel last night, was 105 minutes worth of wait.
Yeah.
And as visually stunning and amazing as that attraction is, I'll say it again, you can't make rope interesting.
Right.
So 105 minutes of staring at rope? No. Plus, the ride itself is about a minute and a half long.
Right.
Maybe a little bit more. But not worth that kind of a wait.
Right. Pausing for yelling cheerleaders. Because we got to be loud. It is one of my gifts, so I understand when other people have it. Okay.
And God bless body positivity. Just got to put that out there.
That's right. Okay. So we did we did the gorilla trail.
Yes.
After we got off of the safari. And the animals in the safari were really active. We saw a lot, learned a few things, that giraffes eat almost as much as elephants sleep. Mm-hmm. No, lions sleep, not elephants.
Lions.
Yeah,
right.
Lions, yeah.
And they sleep standing up and with their eyes open.
In 5-minute increments.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah.
I couldn't be a giraffe.
No.
Other than the eating all day part.
Well, I mean, same, but...
Right. So yeah, then we did the gorilla trail. What did you think of that, Candice?
I thought it was really cool. It made me think about home a lot because we have a really stellar zoo in our area. It reminded me of that a lot, and some of the exhibits and stuff that they have there. The gorillas were really close to the glass, and it was nice to be able to see them. And we've watched the magic of Animal Kingdom on Disney Plus. We're working our second way through now, and it's nice to be able to actually match the animals with the names that they're talking about in that show.
Yeah, and another hot tip, make sure you're talking to cast members on things like that. They have a wealth of information, and they want to share with you.
Yes.
That's what they're there for. They're there to help you enjoy.
They're part of the experience.
Yeah. Don't just feel like you have to walk by them and that they're just there to guard your step to make sure you don't do something wrong. They're there to help you enjoy it and ask them.
Right, like they were training meerkats yesterday. How do you train a meerkat? Well, there's a purpose behind it, and they... Like on the Magic of Animal Kingdom, they do explain that they try and form a partnership with the animals so that they can be participants in their care so they don't have to sedate all the time in the event that somebody does need medical care.
Yeah. And they were training the meerkats to line up so they could feed them easier.
I can see how that would be a plus.
Yes. They get them all lined up on a log and then they feed them all at once.
Yep.
That way they always know who's been fed and who's been fed what.
Yep. Smart.
Yeah. And so then after that, it was about time for us to walk down for our lunch reservation. And we got into our lunch reservation a little bit early because only half the group was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
The other half was just, they went to Satuli Canteen and got some lunch. Well, we ate at Tiffin's. What did you think of Tiffin's?
Amazing. Like, I'd heard good things about it, but I'm like, is it really worth a 2 table service credit spend?
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
And our server, Habib, was amazing.
Yeah, one of the better meals I've ever had on property.
Yes, agree.
It was fantastic. So then, after that, Candice's favorite part of the whole trip happened. You want to tell the group what that was?
So our friends that did not join us for lunch actually grabbed walk-up waitlist spots at Nomad Lounge, which is right next door to Tiffin's. It's actually attached. And so we got 2 of the tables that were outside but set back against the building, so they were nice and shady. There was a beautiful breeze blowing through. We had nice comfy furniture to sit on, and Cam was our server for that experience, and Cam knocked it out of the park.
Yes, he did.
He told stories, he told us about his Disney journey, all the things, and he was just amazing. Amazing.
Yes.
But we sat there for a good 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then, like, just because of the crowds and the waits and everything, I tapped out.
Yep.
I went back to the hotel and unpeopled for a while, and it was nice.
Yeah, you needed that.
I did.
And so I just hung out with the rest of the group, and we went and toured the Maharaja Jungle Trek, which was also a lot of fun. A lot of the animals, like the bats, had just gone in for dinner, so we didn't get to see the bats. We had just missed them. We saw them starting to clean up, and one of the keepers came out, and I said, "Who are we looking for here?" They said, "You're looking for the bats, but they've all gone in for dinner." And there were no stragglers tonight. So that we missed that part of the jungle trek, but we saw the water buffalo. We saw a tiger watching the water buffalo wiggling its butt.
Oh.
Like, yeah, it was like the water buffalo keeper said that was one of the tigers. I think it was Cora. Her favorite activities was to sit there and watch the buffalo.
And wiggle her butt?
Well, I think she's dreaming of true wild, like, ooh, it could be dinner time, because that's totally what it looked like.
She's got her instincts going where she's winding up to go pounce on something.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And then after that, we walked over to Everest. God, this is why we should do this right after we're done, so I don't forget things, because I have a brain like a mesh net. But three of us did single rider line on Everest. 2 of our group, it was their 5th time on Everest yesterday. They rope dropped it, and they just kept going on and on and on again, and they got through 4 times. And then I wanted to go. They knew I wanted to go, so they went back, and we just did the single rider line, so they got their 5th. So they had to buy souvenirs to commemorate 5 times on Everest, which was kind of fun. Then we went over to Pandora, got a pineapple lumpia for me and a beer. The pineapple lumpia, 2.5, 3 out of 10, would not recommend. Just lacked kind of flavor. The cream cheese wasn't sweetened enough. The pineapple wasn't strong enough. And the dough just tasted like fried phyllo.
It just sounds like a mushy mess to me.
Yeah, it was not great. I definitely would not get that again. And then we just kind of hung out and waited for Pandora to get dark, because none of the group other than me had seen Pandora at night. So we hung out there as it got dark and took a few pictures right after sunset. They had dinner reservations back here at Epcot, so we had to kind of bolt out, and I made an early evening of it as well. Didn't come back over to Epcot with them. I just kind of hung out at the room. We got a nice quick service dinner in the room and had one of those nights of just chilling, a relaxing night. And every now and then you need those. You need to know your limits. You need to know what you're doing. And yeah, Animal Kingdom was a great day. Again, I'm not going to complain about crowds, because I did everything I wanted to do in Animal Kingdom yesterday. Everything that was on my list, I checked off my list. And we didn't have Genie Plus. We didn't have Genie Plus. Yeah, Genie Plus. They need to stop naming things Plus. I get them all confused. But yeah, I was able to do everything that I wanted to do without having to have fast passes and that kind of thing yesterday. So you can do it even on super busy days. You just
Patience.
and just pick your times and pick the things that you want to wait in line for. Like we decided, it's a 50-minute wait for the safari, but that's important enough to us that we're not going to just bounce around the park waiting for the time to come down when we don't think it will. By the time we got off that ride, it was a 90-minute wait.
Right.
So,
and especially how the animals are typically more active in the morning and at the evening times, and not so much in the middle of the day just because of the heat.
Right.
So, I mean, pick your priorities.
Yeah.
And I think we've said that before, where build your lists, know what you need to do to make it your trip.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll check back in after today. Today's day is another Epcot day where we have one dinner planned, but other than that, we're going to try some food booths. We're going to do a few things here and there, but we have no plan today. So if we want to do it, we do it. If we don't, we don't. So,
correct.
That's going to be our day today, and we'll check in and let you know how it goes a little bit later. Welcome to our last, is this going to be our last one, or are we going to do one tomorrow night too when we get home?
We might.
We'll see. This might be the last. It might not be the last of our Disney After Dark episodes. Not even episodes, segments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so confused. Editing this is going to be a nightmare. So today, as we told you in the first segment that we actually recorded from in the park this morning because we forgot to last night, was an Epcot day.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent as many steps today as I did on Monday. So I bookended the trip with my feet screaming at me.
Yeah.
It's the way it should be, though, right? It's a Disney trip.
Exactly.
And we had another pretty fantastic day.
We really did.
And honestly, we didn't do very much. I think a lot of the steps came from the things we wanted to do required a little bit of backtracking here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't have a plan of attack, you end up doing things in not necessarily the ideal order, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think we ran into some of that today, which caused some extra steps.
Right.
But it didn't detract from the day.
No, I think we had a fabulous day.
Yeah. So let's talk about last to first.
Okay.
Let's talk about Luminous.
Oh dear. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So, if you've been listening for any length of time, you know I have pretty strong opinions and pretty strong feelings, especially when it comes to Disney.
You?
And the proper way that they need to do things.
Yes.
Illuminations was the first fireworks show that I ever saw in Epcot. Because that was the first show I ever saw, that's where my bar has been.
Mm-hmm.
And up until now, nothing has come close. I will say Epcot Forever I do appreciate because of the Walt pieces that are sprinkled in. But I did finally come around to Harmonious when that was a thing.
Yes.
But I would have to say, after seeing Luminous, they're getting back to the right way of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. It very much felt, I don't even know how to describe it. It rivaled all of the fireworks shows I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And there were no projections.
Mm-mm.
There was no blatant IP thrown in for the sake of it being thrown in.
No, the music that they use is recognizable, but it enhances the story. It doesn't take the place of the story or try and overpower the story.
Right. Yeah, and I think we mentioned it the first time we watched it, but watching it outside in person, I will tell you that mashup between Remember Me and Because She Loved Me will grab your heart, rip it out of your chest.
Show it to you.
And
then stomp on it.
Right, exactly. Then put it back in your chest just so it can do it all again in that 2.5 minutes.
Right. It's a cycle that happens at least, 3 times in that one section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolutely amazing. So what else? What are some other highlights of today? We did.
So we actually ate dinner at the Santa and Hill Inn, which is the restaurant inside the pyramid in the Mexican Pavilion.
Yes, we did.
And that was the first time that we've eaten there. We will talk about that another time.
Yeah, I think we can give our initial reactions to that, though, is I think our opinion is of the two restaurants, I think Stan and Helen's is still the one we would choose.
And I don't know how much of that is nostalgia for us.
Right. Because
Like-
the food was very similar in quality.
Yes,
I
yes
think
it
the
was.
service we got at Stan and Helen's was better than the Pyramid. The front of the house was nicer at the Pyramid than they were over at Stan and Helen's.
Mm-hmm.
The fireworks play a piece in that. But overall, because of the inside of the Pyramid is supposed to be a Mexican villa at night, that restaurant is dark.
Mm-hmm.
And it was loud.
Mm-hmm. Because you had all the line noise from Grand Fiesta Tour and just people generally being people.
Yeah, so it was hard to converse and that kind of thing. And a group of 9 put at a long table, made it to where really... It made it hard to, in my opinion, it made it a little harder to celebrate than if they would have had round tables or something like that, where we could have all been kind of looking at one another and
Mm-hmm.
conversing different directions and that kind of thing. But the company was still great. We loved everybody we were here with.
Absolutely.
It was a good time, and we celebrated the person that wanted to celebrate there well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So... yeah, we'll give more reviews. We'll probably do a full food episode at some point in the near future. We'll have Lacey and Lariah here with us for that one because they like when we talk about food. So we'll talk through menus and what we ate at another time. We went on Living with the Land 3 times today, or just twice?
Twice.
Okay. Yeah, we went on Living with the Land as many times as some of the group went on Expedition Everest yesterday.
If that tells you of our speed at all.
Right. That's who we are. And Candice almost felt like she was going to be late to dinner, but we still snuck in Living with the Land one more time just because.
Because we were there and it was a walk-on, and I'm like, it's my last opportunity for this trip, so I have to.
Yep. 100%. Sorry for the yawn, folks. It's been a long week.
It has been a long week, but it's been a good week.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal week. I wouldn't give back a minute. I don't know. Well, again, some of this stuff we'll probably go into in other episodes, but because this one's has a potential to get pretty long just with how we're doing it. But again, I think we need to have a dining plan discussion about how we might, the changes in the dining plan, how we were trying to use it, that kind of thing. So listen for that to come. Maybe we'll do another trip recap, break it down into a couple more episodes, that kind of thing.
And we did get some new food options today from some of the booths.
We did. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. What are some of the things that were standouts for you?
So I was really pleasantly surprised by the beef Wellington.
Me too.
As we kind of figured, because it's being mass-produced in a theme park, it was overdone. The way that we would normally do beef Wellington would be different.
Right.
However, with that said, it was still very cuttable. Is that a word?
Yep, with a plastic knife.
Yes, with a plastic knife. It had great flavor to it. I thought the seasoning was on point. The sauce that came with it made the dish, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And it was a perfect shareable. We each got like 2 bites of it, and that was really all I needed. Because it was pretty rich as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and festival food is expensive, but for what you get, but it was really good.
What else? Oh, we had kakigori, which we'd not had before. And that's not a festival thing. It's something they have here all the time, but it's basically shaved ice with different flavored syrups, and you can get sweet milk on it if you want to, which we did.
Yes.
Like, I'm not a big fan of traditional snow cones because I feel like the flavor is gone before you get the ice taken care of.
Right.
This didn't happen that way. So I don't know what the magic was there, but...
it was much more compact ice, I think.
Okay, that
from
might
a traditional snow cone.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least maybe that's my sense, because as you ate it with a spoon, it was almost like you had to carve off.
Yeah.
pieces of it. So I think the syrup that they're using compacted the ice a little bit differently. But
or helps it melt faster to get solid faster or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was good. And we had the sweet milk. I don't know that I would have to do the sweet milk again. It was good, but I don't know that it added much.
Other than sweet.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back to the other festival foods that we tried.
We did have the pork belly.
The grilled pork belly, we had that.
Which I did not care for.
It wasn't my favorite dish, but it also wasn't terrible.
That would be a definite pass for me.
Yeah.
Definite pass.
Yeah, I could walk by it again. I'm trying to... So we did that. Oh, we also ate at Pop Eats.
Yes, we did.
And I'm never going to eat a traditional grilled cheese sandwich again.
Not without pimento cheese and fried green tomatoes.
Exactly. Now I just have to figure out how to make fried green tomatoes in a way that I can make a quick grilled cheese with the pimento cheese that I make.
I don't know that quick is...
But maybe even without the fried green tomatoes. Just have pimento cheese on hand and make your grilled cheeses out of that.
Mm-hmm.
It was delicious.
It really was.
And what did you think of the tomato soup? I'm not a tomato soup fan, so I'm not going to judge it.
So I thought it was really good. It almost had a more of a... It wasn't like a creamy tomato soup. It was more of just like a vegetable broth.
Mm-hmm.
And it had like some little tiny pieces of tomato in it, which I appreciated. I like tomato soup. And grilled cheese and tomato soup is one of my favorite things, like favorite comfort meals ever.
Yes, and so I tasted it, like it wasn't bad tomato soup, I just don't like tomato soup. So I'm not a good judge.
Yeah. We did also have that ice cream float abomination.
Yeah. Service failure there on Disney.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. We didn't tell anybody about it because it wasn't a big deal. We ordered a cream soda float. And we got a strawberry float because they kept saying vanilla, and the people in the kitchen, I don't think, could understand what was being said from outside the window. So they were just making whatever they wanted. Because the group in front of us didn't get what they ordered either.
No.
And like when they said, is this what we ordered? Yeah, that's what you ordered, and we're trying to shove people out. Instead of making sure they got the order right. But So we probably should have told someone, but for a $6 ice cream treat, it wasn't that big of a deal.
But with that said, $6 for what we got was terrible.
Yeah, it was not a good deal. I enjoyed the ice cream treat, but again, not anything that I want again.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I would the cream soda one. But
Maybe.
We
don't know.
And now we'll never know.
I know.
What else today? We got you back on Spaceship Earth.
Yep, we got you through the American Adventure.
Oh, yeah, and that was actually a better show than what I thought it was going to be.
I'm glad you liked it.
You don't like American history, though.
That's why I don't like it.
Yeah, but I thought it was a cute show, but if you ever need a 30-minute nap in in air conditioning in Epcot, that's probably a good show to go watch.
Mm-hmm.
Just slink down in the chairs a little bit and just rest your head and close your eyes and rest for a little bit.
There was a couple times mine were closed. Not gonna lie. Oh, and we also ate the duck and dumplings.
That's right. That was a delicious dish, too.
Yes, it was.
And better than you thought it was going to be, because you're not a big duck fan.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like Donald, but, like, not on my plate.
You don't like eating Donald's cousins?
No.
But yeah, American Adventure I thought was fun, but it's, like, some people say, like, Carousel of Progress is their nap-through attraction. I think that's going to be American Adventure for me.
Yeah.
Like, yep, I need a place to go shut my eyes in the dark for a bit. Let's go in here. Because, yeah, I was interested in the show my first time through it, and there were a couple times when I was having trouble keeping my eyes open.
I mean, the technology behind it is really cool, and seeing the animatronic figures and kind of knowing the history of them is awesome.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it needs some help, I think.
I don't. It's the story of America-ish. It's
adjacent.
Fine. Yeah, fine. It's historically accurate-ish.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's a storyteller's telling of the story.
Sure.
Which is fine. We also did another new to us thing, too, that is also going back on our we need to do it again list at a different time of day. and that was the Moana's
Journey of Water. That was amazing.
Attraction.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was it's quintessential Epcot.
Mm-hmm. That's what Epcot should be.
Right. It was exactly what you wanted an attraction to be. It's not a ride. It's not a vehicle you sit in. You go in and you learn and you play with water.
Mm-hmm.
And you get your picture taken with Te Fiti.
Mm-hmm.
And
a great big Te Fiti.
Yeah.
Like not a character, like a walk-around character. They have a statue of Te Fiti in the exhibit, and she is large and she is beautiful.
Yes. Fantastic
Mm-hmm.
attraction. It's the edutainment, the whimsy, everything that you would want it to be.
And they took enough
attraction.
time to get it done correctly and not just sped through and done fast.
Right. Now, and I will say this, that's one of those things you have to go take your time with.
Yeah, you can't just speed through it.
If you just speed through it, you're going to think it's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
If you just watch other people interact with the water, you're going to think it's not great. If you take the dry path, you're not going to think it's great.
Yeah, allow yourself to be a kid and play in the water.
Yeah, 100%. That's the best way to put it. Perfect. What else, Candice?
We had another nice, after fireworks tonight, we had a nice stroll
Yes.
back to our resort again. That was lovely.
Yeah. I enjoy those times of just take your time leaving the park. They're not going to shove you out. We sat down for a bit, let some of the crowds clear, and then we just walked our happy little bottoms right out of the park.
Yep.
Through a gift shop where we didn't buy anything, which is always a win in my book.
Yep.
So yeah, that was our last full day. That was our last park day, last full day at Disney World for this trip.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what we're going to do tomorrow morning. Our ride doesn't pick us up until about 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
And we have to check out at 11.
We have to check out at 11, so we'll figure out what we're going to do in the meantime. Maybe even if it's just hang out by the pool or whatever. So
we'll figure out something.
Yep. So we'll check in at 1. I think what we'll do is we'll close out this episode at some point when we're at home before I edit. And yeah, we'll close out with what we did tomorrow, and we'll wrap up the last full day.
Yep.
Okay. Talk to you in the next one. Welcome back to the last installment of Disney After Dark. But again, we're not recording in the dark today.
Right.
We are a day out from our return trip from Walt Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
Excited to be home, sad to be home, all the things, but it was a great trip.
It really was.
So let's talk a little bit about travel day.
Okay.
Most stressful part of the trip happened at about 7 o'clock in the morning on travel day. We got the dreaded text message that said our first flight out of Orlando was delayed.
Which was interesting because we weren't supposed to leave Orlando until like 5:30. So how they knew it was going to be delayed at that point at 7:30 in the morning just baffles me.
Yeah, their logistics are much better than mine, I'm sure.
I don't.
But
I'm
sure
they?
it was like coming out of somewhere with weather, so it was going to be 2 hours late here, then they weren't going to be able to make up that time or whatever elsewhere in the schedule, and it would have meant we would have missed our connecting from Denver back to Lincoln.
Yeah.
So we got the option to change our flights. We actually got on a slightly earlier flight and got home about an hour earlier than what we had intended, which wasn't such a bad thing.
No.
Because it was still just a nice slow start to the day. That was good English. Yeah. So we went back to sleep after we got flights arranged a little bit, got up, decided not to have breakfast, and ended up going to Hurricane Hannah's for lunch after we got packed up and checked out of the room, dropped our bags off at Bell Services. We went to Hurricane Hannah's for a last Disney cheeseburger and just kind of explore the resort a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had one last stop at Beaches and Cream for a couple more ice cream flavors, just because why not? For science, because why not?
Right.
And then, do you want to talk a little bit about the transport from the resort to the airport?
Sure. So up to this point, well, a few years ago, okay, back up. Several years ago, there was a service that Disney offered in collaboration with Mears that was called Magical Express. And it was a wonderful service. They took care of getting your baggage from the airport. Like, you didn't even have to go to luggage claim. They took your bags. They took care of everything. And your bags just magically appeared in your resort room a few hours after arrival.
Yes.
It was an amazing service. Contract negotiations changed with Mears several years ago. They did away with the service. And since then, there has been sort of a gap in finding good, solid, reliable transportation that didn't involve charter buses and tons of luggage and things like that, which is not how I like to start a trip.
Yeah, if charter buses are your thing,
good on you.
Good on you. They're fairly inexpensive.
And Mears Connect is a great service. I recommend a lot of my clients use that service when they've got families and just need a way to get to their resort.
Right.
There's also rideshare like Uber, Lyft, minivan services, which we'll talk about, and which we have talked about previously. That's also an option to get to and from Orlando International.
Yes.
So that's an option. However, a service that we've used before and that we used for this trip as well, just because of the number of people and because it was a special occasion, was we contracted rides through Happy Limo, which is a driver and car service in the Orlando area. They're very nice to work with. They're very accommodating, very helpful, very responsive, and I would recommend them 100%.
100%. Little pricier,
but more elevated service as well. I mean, our driver on our arrival day did come to help us with luggage at baggage claim, loaded the speeder van for us and gave us a nice smooth ride, very pleasant experience. And then because we did have a special event, our ride yesterday actually got a free upgrade to probably one of the most ridiculous looking vehicles I've ever seen. And I was actually kind of embarrassed to climb into it because it was nothing if not a spectacle.
Yes.
But at the same time, it was kind of awesome all at the same time.
Yes. My
bougie little heart loved it.
Yes.
So we got upgraded to what they said was an 18-passenger stretch, quote-unquote, limo. But it was not a limo like you think limo. It was a Chevy Suburban limo.
That held 18 people in the back.
And it was white and shiny and just...
And a super, super stretch. It was ridiculous.
It was the size of a bus.
Right. For
2 people.
Candice and I. Because the rest of the group rearranged their flights to leave even earlier, and we couldn't get the transport there early enough to get us all to the airport at the same time, so they all ride-shared back to the airport instead. So, yeah, it was 2 of us that were cruising down I-4.
Yep. And it was funny to watch cars as we drove past them because they were looking at it like trying to figure out who was inside.
Right. Who's the famous person in there?
I was like, oh, we fancy.
Yeah, ridiculous is the right way to say that.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
And I got the giggles when I saw it pulling up. And it was hard not to just laugh my whole way through it. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, agreed. So, other than that, travel day went fairly smooth. It was...
I will say, if you have been on the fence about considering TSA PreCheck or not, and have a Disney plan in your future, do it.
Yes.
The regular security lines were 45 minutes long yesterday, and we got through in, 15 minutes?
Less than 10, 15, something like that.
Yeah.
And, there's other options like Clear, and I don't know how it works, but in Orlando, they have a reserve Clear where I think you probably reserve a time and you just walk right through.
Right.
So there's options to avoid those security lines, and But at a minimum, TSA pre-check is the way to go. You don't have to take off your shoes. You don't have to take off your belt. Take nothing out of your bags. Like, all the things that slow down the regular line are things you don't have to do in TSA pre.
And it's been my experience that the TSA agents are a little bit more friendly in pre-check lines. I suppose that's because you've been vetted already and they know you're not going to cause a problem. I will say, though, that it's very, and this kind of goes with everything travel related, pay attention to what you're doing. We had a lady 2 spots in front of us in the pre-check line that waited as long as we did, so 10 minutes probably in line, got up to the agent, showed her ID, and then he's like, well, you don't have pre-check, so what you're going to have to do is go to the back of the standby line like it's an amusement park thing.
Right.
The regular security line, wait in all of that again to get through. So pay attention to where you're going, pay attention to the signage, pay attention to all the things so you don't cause yourself additional stress, because I'm sorry, but it was very clearly marked.
Right. Yes. Okay, anything else you want to talk about from Travel Day? It was a pretty uneventful day, a good way to leave Disney, if you ask me.
It was. Chicago O'Hare still frustrates the ever-living spit out of me.
That's not O'Hare's fault. It's just a busy-ass airport.
Well, but okay. Make up your frickin' mind. Don't make passengers drag all over and switch gates 10 times before you decide, yep, you can go ahead and leave from this gate. Please.
They didn't know what gate we were going to be going to, because there must have been delays somewhere in the system, like weather yesterday, because the reason we couldn't pull up to the gate that we were supposed to be in was because there was already a plane parked at it. Then the gate that we were supposed to depart from, they said, nope, just kidding, don't go to that one, go to this one. And then we sat there for a bit, and then at the very last minute, 10 minutes before we boarded, they said, oh, never mind, go back to this third gate, and that's where you're actually going to leave from.
That, again, was a yonk and a half across the airport. I did not approve.
No. You make me laugh. It is what it is.
I'm glad I can entertain someone.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? We'll talk more about this trip in a lot of details. We've been sitting around today relesting.
Relesting.
Yeah, relaxing and resting. Relesting.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a new word. I just invented it.
I love it.
We're gonna get it
TM.
We're gonna get into Webster's.
Relesting.
We're relesting.
TM.
Yes, TM. I like it. And we've been talking about some of the things that we're going to talk about in future episodes to go into more detail.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, because now that we've been there, it feels like we have some fresh things to talk about, and maybe some things that we're thinking about a little differently, and things that we would do differently that maybe because of pandemic and as we're getting older, things that we do a little differently. So, hey, listen in for that. It's going to be a fun few weeks as we talk more about this trip and that kind of things as we go through the next few episodes.
And one thing I will say, we did have 2 members of our travel group come back and test positive for COVID, so it is still a thing.
Yes.
The rest of us are okay and asymptomatic as far as I know. But just keep in mind, be relentless with it. Take your hand sanitizer, wash your hands. Just take care of yourself. Don't go balls to the wall. If your body is telling you that you are tired, rest.
Yes.
Don't wear yourself down to the point that you're more susceptible to picking up stuff, because it is everywhere. All the surfaces that you touch are disgusting. I don't care how clean Disney thinks they are. All the surfaces you touch are disgusting. So wash your hands, sanitize, rest, eat nutritionally as often as possible. Just take care of yourself.
Yep, agreed. And you can't expect people to cancel vacation plans if they have the sniffles.
No.
And I will guarantee you, last Saturday, if I had woken up with the sniffles, there's no way in hell you would have gotten me to test to see if it was COVID.
No.
It's sniffles, we're going on this trip.
Yep, I'll get over it.
Right. So and I think that's fair. I think some people listening to this would probably be like, well, you need to protect the people. But we spent $4 or $5 grand each on this trip. So And vacation time was taken, flights, like, yes, that's why you have travel insurance. If I had been deathly ill, I wouldn't have gone, not even deathly ill. If I had been, like, really sick, I probably wouldn't have gone. But just like the sniffles, which what we're finding is this, in our group, is presenting like allergy symptoms.
Right. And very tired.
Right. So, but again, take care of those around you. Do what you need to do. If you're not feeling well, also wear a mask.
Right. I mean, if anything, if any good thing came out of the pandemic, it was normalizing wearing a mask when you don't feel well.
100%. 100%. Okay. Anything else we want to talk about?
I think we've covered everything we can at this point.
Okay. Hopefully you've enjoyed listening to our trip through Disney and Disney After Dark.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. That sounded very ominous. Okay, we're going to let you go on to the next one. Let us know what you thought of this trip and all the things on our social medias. We'd love to hear from you. What do you think we got wrong? What should we have done differently during our days? All of those kind of things, let us know. And remember, there is always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
And we'll see you real soon. After Dark.